Helm Warp 1, engage!
What's so classic about the Midwest Gaming Classic? You watching? You good. Go ahead. He wasn't happy about it, but Oregon Trail, classic. Frogger, majorly classic. Pong? Well, there ain't nothing more classic than Pong. The Ecto-1? Ice hockey? Batman? Kit from Knight Rider? Light guns? Wayne's World? J-Park? Fucking classic. 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 Pinball? Classic. All-Star Wrestling? Classic. E.T., the Atari game that almost destroyed the video game industry. I guess it's classic. Classic piece of shit. Hey, we're here at the Midwest Gaming Classic, and it's so cool. We're here in our room. Yo. Yo. Got an upgrade.
Yeah.
There's the Hiltons. And this is Milwaukee. Welcome to the Midwest Gaming Classic. Year 2. This is our second. Perfect. That's perfect. Cut. Anyways, we're gonna go check it out. Day 1.
There you go.
Well, you're gonna.
Day 1.
Day 1.
Night 1.
We're here. We got our lanyards. Bing bong boom. Check that shit out. That means we're very, very, very importantes. All right. See you there.
Bye.
Hi, everybody. We're here at the Midwest Gaming Classic at the main stage. Nothing's happening right now, but you better believe something might happen. I'm not sure what. A DJ. It looks like a DJ is going to happen. Hey, classic. Yeah. MGC. Kids playing games, y'all. P debate in the house, y'all. Playing with a Ghostbuster, playing with a pack. Yeah. No, that's not what you want. Nah, don't think that's good. I think we should release this track. Get back. Need you in the house, y'all. Get them flying. Get it right. Ciao. Two mother shooting guns. That's right. Play number monster. All fun. Yeah. Monochrome, Apple 2. GS, motherfucker, GS2. Sailor Moon, Sailor Saturn. All these sailors. Gonna make it over, gonna take it all the way to the coast, y'all. Make it y'all. Vest tracks, y'all. Laser light show. Have you ever seen creepy show? Yeah. I got shout out to Wisconsin Club. What? Yeah. Them's feet. Them's a feet. Shot a doe. I found out you shoot does. How did I know? I didn't know. Bet you didn't know the engineers wore these hats working on computers. Did you know that? Bet you didn't. Screw this kid. He doesn't get to play. This is just some random guy. Leave that pinball alone. Dark. Yeah. Glittery, glimmering. DJ tracks. Yeah. That's right. Nintendo. Power y'all. 8-year-old. 82. Super Nintendo. Only if you're rich, y'all.
Hey everybody. We're back at the hotel after a little bit of a gauntlet at the Midwest Gaming Classic.
Yep.
First of all, what do we get as a very important gamer? What's our badge?
We got a cool badge. The badges are cool this year.
Pretty cool. And then we also have this Game Boy game, which is pretty fun. A little indie game on a Game Boy cartridge.
Yep.
Also, we have the annual Nintendo game called this year Pizza Portals. Which is fun because it comes with a actual cartridge, right? We've not played Pizza Portals thus far, but we're gonna find out. Last year it was crab cakes.
Krabby Krab. We don't remember the name of the game.
That's not the name of the game. We also got this book. What do we think? What were some of the takeaways of the Midwest Gaming Classic? This is the second year we've gone.
Year two.
You're into pinball tonight.
I was into pinball tonight. I was having fun zenning out and just watching that silver ball.
Watching that silver
roll
ball.
around those pretty flashing lights.
Yeah, there's a lot of pretty flashing lights for
Lots
sure.
of pretty, 10 out of 10 for pretty flashing.
Flashing lights.
10 out of 10 for pretty flashing frights.
Yeah, they have a lot of pinball here, which I think most people would hear that and be like, oh, that sucks.
I wouldn't consider myself a pinball fan. Like, I played Space Pinball 3D on, my PC computer.
Sure.
But, I don't really play pinball other than that. And I really love it.
And it really was hot in the 70s, which also is before my time. So I do like it, though. It's one of those physics-based games that I think once you get into it, it can be fun. There's something sort of perfect about pinball. It's like a very simple game.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great tables. And they just have so many. I mean, we played so many. There's some classic tables there.
Do you have a favorite table from the night? I really liked the Bram Stoker's Dracula table. That was my favorite.
That was pretty good. And I did like that Dungeons and Dragons one. It was pretty amazing, actually. They have tons of those tables.
Yeah, I don't know if they're promoting it or what. They're
I think it might just be a classic table.
20 of these.
Yeah, but it lived up to its billing. It was very fun. You got to make choices of where you go, like a tabletop game.
The other highlight of the night, and I'm going to say it on here so that we record it for posterity, is we saw this cool-looking black and white game on this awesome old TV, and we sat down and started playing this game that we figured out was like a two-person dodgeball game, sort of.
And you were playing with Genesis controllers, so I assumed it was a Sega Genesis game that I didn't know about, which seemed unlikely because my mind is a steel trap and I remember every stupid video game I ever see.
Yeah.
But the reason I didn't remember it is because it was
this
new.
It was this developer.
Yeah.
We were like, whose game is this? The company name is Snowware.
Snowware.
I'm saying it here so that we'll remember it.
And there's nothing on their itch.io thing yet.
Yeah. But the game we played tonight is potentially called Bombshells.
Yeah.
And it was super fun.
Yeah, you know how like when you play 2-player sports games of like a retro style, it's just all about the control, like the intuitiveness of it because it's not complex. So the simple aspects of the game have to rule. And it was actually really cool. He did it in black and white. It just looks great.
Looked great. Looked great on the old TV, which he
like did some hardware modifications to send the right hertz signal to this like old black and white TV. It was like the kind of feel of like what Cuphead does about like repurposing like a really old technology on, like and using it deliberately for like an aesthetic, and it was really fun. Yeah, we immediately figured out how to play it.
Yeah,
it was great.
What stood out to me about it is that you didn't know exactly what was going on right away, but figuring out what was going on was really fun because we were playing for a while before we realized that you didn't have like a dodgeball side. You could actually run all over the map, but the discovery was fun. Instead of irritating. Like sometimes I get really irritated with games when they won't just tell me what the rules are or whatever.
Yeah.
But this game was like, so the mechanics were so simple that it was actually fun to figure out all the things you could do. And it would take a while, but the parts between figuring something new out felt fun.
You can jump. You have to grab the balls and throw them. There's multiple balls. It's a little like Windjammers.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, there's no sides. It's like an arena. Yeah. So it's like free roam dodgeball with jumping and multiple balls with just 2 people. Anyways, dope.
And I'm not just saying that because I absolutely smoked Matthew at that game.
Smoking him.
She did beat me more often than I beat her. I
think you only beat me like twice.
We don't have to talk about the percentages.
I wonder how many times
the win-loss percentage.
Won.
Let's say she beat me 10 times out of 12. Does that satisfy you? Mm-hmm. The thing about the VIP that I like... VIG.
Very important gamer.
Is that you get to wander around. There's probably a 10th of the amount of people or less that'll be here tomorrow to buy stuff. But I think it's kind of maybe the best part of the whole thing is just vibing on some games with a bunch of fucking nerds.
Super fun.
Yeah. So that's night 1. We'll let you know what else goes down. Probably some fights. Probably some
knifings.
Probably some violence. You know? I mean, it's because you could feel the tension bubbling underneath.
Yep.
I don't know what I'm doing. My hands
kegs.
looks like balls. The balls are being fondled and it's rising the tension. And tomorrow it's just going to be you don't even want to know. I don't want to know. Day 2. We're serious about today.
We're so serious.
This is the day when all bets are off. Midwest Gaming Classic.
Day 2.
We're here. It's going to get crazy. So, what was it like in the end? Who are we now? How did Midwest Gaming Classic change us over the last 2 years? Obviously, nothing has changed in the world around us. So let's point our wider gaze inward by examining what we truly walked away with. Game pickups! There's so much drama in the MGC, it's kind of hard not spending a bunch of cash on hard-ass motherfucking games. So, what did we pick up this year? First is Ape Out, a great-looking Hotline Miami-esque action game set to a jazzy-as-hell soundtrack. It's fun, it's simple to pick up and play, you get to fight for the rights of lab apes by killing the shit out of some morally depraved lab workers with guns. And I just hope their insurance covers ape attacks and that they didn't sign like a waiver or something. Devolver Digital, as a publisher, clearly prioritizes aesthetics, which I appreciate. Another Devolver published pickup that pushed its way into our collection because it knows I'm allergic is Gato Roboto. Another great looking, great sounding Metroidvania in which you are a cat in a robot suit that must save its owner and solve a wild sci-fi mystery. It controls great, and the black and white style of pixel art is a bold choice that works and feels novel. Next comes Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon 1 and 2. These two games are fun, short spin-offs of the Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which was kickstarted into existence by Koji Igarashi, a creative force behind Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Tokimeki Memorial, and other absolute favorite games of mine. While Ritual of the Night doesn't quite capture the classic magic of Symphony of the Night, these respective Curses of the Moons capture the NES Castlevania 3 vibes pretty perfectly. It's a retro blast for those that don't need everything in 3 dimensions. Next we've got Panzer Paladin. It's got Shovel Knight vibes galore, plays great, and the color palette is perfection. I like my games dark and gloomy, and this game says, fuck you, what about Mega Man, you goddamn liar? And I am lying. These colorful sprites make me believe in the future in which robots help us fight through a dystopian nightmare. Oh my god, we're already there. On that note, let's get back to the gloom. Axiom Verge is quite the phenomenon. It's a love letter to the original Metroid made by one compulsive man on a mission. The game plays beautifully, has truly excellent pixel art, and the music, he wrote the music too. I'm a bit jelly of this guy's ability, but even more, I respect his story. There's a great documentary about the making of this game that you should absolutely check out. Link below, yo. Fro, yo. For my penultimate Switch pickup, I got a dope steel book of Sifu, a hard-as-nails kung fu roguelite action game with a fluid and truly dynamic combat system, and a simple but effective art style. I just wish it ran better on the Switch though, much better on the PS5 or PC, FYI. To wrap up the Switch, I got the Final Fantasy X 10-2 HD collection. What I like about this one is it's one of those HD remasters that basically keep the old, in this case, PS2 game intact. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Blitzball, baby. If you don't know what that is, just play it. Is it as good as Final Fantasy 6, 7, or 9? No, but is it awesome? Most definitely. To wrap this up, we've got some vintage games to bring it on home. First is 13 for the GameCube. It's a stylish, cel-shaded, first-person adventure shooter. It's pretty underrated and looks great on a CRT. Highly recommend. Next is Castlevania Lament of Innocence on the PS2. These 3D Castlevanias get a bad rap, but are still pretty good. I'm trying to collect all the games from my favorite few franchises, like Castlevania, so this one was destined for the shelf. Next, it will sit next to the CIB Super Castlevania for the SNES. Nowhere as good as Rondo of Blood or some of its SNES contemporaries, but it's still Castlevania and it's still fun. Great to play on the Mister or whatever other means you can. The pixel art and music is still classic Nintendo. Next, I've been trying to flesh out the old Sega Genesis collection with only my favorites. So why then did I go and buy Dracula? Firstly, I really like Coppola's film, despite Keanu and Winona's British accents. Gary Oldman is the shit. This game has great box art and some cool vibes. Is it good though? No. No, it is not. Next, and a much more quality title, Toe Jam and Earl. What do I say about this game? It's a couple of hip-hop aliens trying to get back home by navigating what seems to be a purgatory of contemporary 90s Americana? Are they dead? Either way, I feel kinship with them, and the soundtrack slaps. Speaking of space adventures, Space Harrier 2 is a classic on-rail shooter that looked 3D kinda, but wasn't at all. Some solid 2D sprite scaling that makes for a fun arcade game that doesn't steal your quarters. Alien 3 is next. Not much to say here. I love Alien and Aliens. And Alien 3 and the game version of that movie are both troubled, but it's an arcade platformer with Ripley, so it can't be all that bad. Shoot that pulse rifle, rescue the inmates, just do it. Rescue the inmates, why don't ya? Now onto a classic. Ghouls and Ghosts, or Ghosts and Goblins, is a brutal arcade platformer that has been ported about 20 times. I grew up with this version and never got that far. Again though, it's a very memorable game with earworm tracks and killer animation. Just don't expect to have fun if you don't like to die. You will die. Like, mostly will you be dying. You will be bones more than a man, just to be clear. Finally, yes, finally, I picked up a few loose NES carts. Well, this isn't loose. I finally got this CIB. Eight Eyes is a Castlevania ripoff with some novel ideas, hard as hell, but looks good. The Immortal is another absolutely cruelly difficult action RPG. The isometric view in pixel art is very cool, but it controls like trash and might be impossible to finish. Sometimes I'll just jump into a game like this just for the humility. It looks cool though, right? Also, I couldn't get capture footage of this, but this is Zoda's Revenge, which is Star Tropics 2. Highly recommend Star Tropics. Both games are like Zelda, it's great. And then finally is Rygar. A neighbor of mine had Rygar, and it reminded me of a side-scrolling Zelda before they even made a side-scrolling Zelda, and I was totally sold. It plays surprisingly well, isn't too tough, and is a pretty quintessential NES title in my opinion. If you haven't tried it, strap on your Goat leggings, chain up your shield, and get to killing those giant roly-poly pill bugs, I guess. It's not weird. You're weird. I guess we're all weird here. So you're in good company. So that's it. What do you think of the pickups? What have you picked up lately that you recommend? Tell us in the comments, and we'll see you when we see you, stranger.